Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. I am your host, Ali Aruda, and today we are in studio, and I am joined by such a special guest. Please welcome to the show, Deidre Sirianni.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Woo!
Woo! We've had so much woo energy before we hit record. And what is so exciting and so special about this is that we met together back in March, earlier this year, in Chris and Lori Harder's Elite Entrepreneur Mastermind, and have been able to be on calls with each other regularly between the Elite Mastermind and the Mentor Collective Mastermind. And now here you are in person for the weekend. For our friend, well, my in real life friend, you are only electronic digital friends right now.
This is true.
But you're gonna change that this weekend.
Yes.
Christina Bartold's event, High Vibe Women. And we get to do this in person. We've been talking about doing a podcast episode together for a really long time, and how special that it's probably why I was postponing it. I was like, we have to do it in person. And here we are.
I love it. I love the studio. I love the space. I love you. I'm stoked to be here.
We're off to the races.
Yes, we are.
So for those of you listening, watching, you're like, cool, I can't wait to hear all this. What does Deidre do? Well, she does a lot of things. She's a speaker, she is a coach, and an author. And I'm so excited about our conversation that we're going to have, because I feel like we get to go all over the place with so many different topics that are all rooted in like the same things in terms of visibility, personal brand, telling your story. I love what you said, even like trauma, transformation. So let's start by, obviously I want to know your entire story, but more so what inspired you to really dive into focusing and encouraging people and inspiring people to tell their story that incorporates trauma or grief or big life changes?
I love this question. I feel like for so long in my life, whenever there was something that wasn't going well, trauma, childhood things that happened, I had a lot of shame. And I had this personality for so long where everything's good all of the time. If you saw the old version of me like 10 years ago when I used to own a yoga company and all these things, I was like, yes, everything's great, everything's great. I was go, 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 hustle, 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 always smiling. And I didn't give myself permission to feel anything that wasn't working in my life. And so there was this moment about 8-9 years ago, I was standing in my kitchen and I was putting my fingers through my hair and I realized that something felt off. So I grabbed my phone, I raced to the bathroom, I put on camera mode, and I started angling in the back of my head. I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a bald spot. And my bald spot was like probably a few inches wide at the top of my head. I had really long hair down to my hips. It was like my thing growing up. Grew up with 2 older brothers. And I was like, how do I fix this? Like, what's going on? Clearly the universe is trying to tell me something, because it's going after my hair. And in that moment, I knew that I couldn't hide anymore, that I wasn't okay and that things weren't working. So I go back to my kitchen, I sit down for a moment to ground, and that's when I heard this voice come out of me and say, if you don't listen to your soul, you're going to get cancer and die in the next year.
Oh my gosh, I did not see that coming. I was just like, I'm just gonna put my hair behind my ears, and then you dropped a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I never heard this voice before outside of one other time. And so I had a flashback to about 5-6 years prior, and I'm outside. I have friends and family to both sides of me. I have pink roses in my hands, and I'm walking down the aisle about to marry the guy that I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And so I'm smiling, I'm happy, everything's good. And right before getting to him, the same voice says, this just isn't going to work. And I didn't know what that voice was. No one taught me intuition. And I really did think I was doing what I was meant to be doing. I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with this guy. And so what did I do? I shoved it down and I said, I do. Right? And so I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm having this flashback and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 4 different types of autoimmune disease that the doctors at the time couldn't help me with. I had chronic pain in my neck and shoulders to the point where my massage therapist actually fired me.
You're too complicated, basically. You're out.
She's like, I can't help you anymore. I didn't know they could do that, but they can. And I just was so depressed to the point of having a vision of ending my life. And if you knew me, you would be like, oh, she's the happiest person that I know. She lifts everyone else up. And so all this stuff is coming to me as I'm sitting at my at my table in my kitchen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, could it be that this entire time, ever since I walked down the aisle and ignored this voice that I just heard again, my soul has been talking to me through these symptoms of disease? So I was like, I made a vow to myself. I'm going to get honest. I'm going to have courage to look in the mirror and notice where I've been off path. And I'm going to take massive inspired action to change my life. And so I did. And in just a few months of doing the inner work of honesty, courage, showing up, healing my trauma, I healed myself of 3 of those 4 autoimmune diseases.
Wow. Okay, there's so much to unpack there. But my initial question for you is, what was your relationship like from a spirituality standpoint when you were getting these nudges?
Right. Okay. So I'll finish just sharing a little bit about some of the things that happened, and then I will definitely tell you that because that's another piece of the story.
Okay.
I love this. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's just go to all the way in. So I healed myself of 3 of those 4 autoimmune diseases. My chronic pain was gone, and my food sensitivities, anxiety, all the things that were bothering me went away. And then eventually I left the relationship. It was mentally and emotionally abusive, and my body was shutting down. So back to your story around my relationship to spirituality, I was working with a shaman probably 5 years prior. I woke up to my spiritual gifts, like you guys were talking about Wooville before I got here. And I was like, oh, I live there. Like, this is my life. But I woke up to my spiritual gifts when I was 20. I can see disease in people's bodies. I can talk to people who have passed away. I've met angels. I've literally been caught by angels when I got in a really bad accident, barely hit the concrete. I have a very strong connection with the divine. And I woke up to all that at 20, and I thought I was going crazy. But at this time in my life, I was probably like 27. And although I had all these experiences and I had worked with a shaman and was understanding the language of the soul and how the soul speaks through manifestations of disease, I wasn't honest with myself with the relationship. So my body was trying to kill me. My soul was trying to kill me because I wasn't listening to my purpose. I wasn't listening to the nudges, and I was listening everywhere else. I was seeing all the things going on in the world around me, but internally I was still in denial, right? So for me, it was like, okay, I have to be honest. This relationship is toxic, and my soul wants to end my life if I don't get on path. So that was my relationship to spirituality. But I woke up to my spiritual gifts when I was 20, and I can see what's going on in people's bodies, and people who are pass away love to talk to me and tell me messages for people. So
do we do a little like live podcast interlude here? Like I hope people now have switched from listening to the podcast to watching it on YouTube, because my facial reactions are so worth it.
I was not planning on saying any of that stuff, but here we are.
Oh my gosh. Do you see anything right now? Is there anyone here?
I don't see anyone here. What I find though, is if I'm in a very present moment with someone, I can see their past self and I can see their future self. So I could look at your face and see the little girl version of you, and then see the old version of you, like the very, very, very old version of you. And what I find with people who pass away, I don't know everything about everything. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like you can see this, tell me this, everyone wants to know everything. What I do know for sure is when people pass away, there's a window of time that I'm getting goosebumps, where they want to come through and they want to connect and give messages to their loved ones. So the first time this happened to me was, I don't know, like maybe 15 years ago, an ex-boyfriend of mine passed away, and I was driving to teach at one of my corporate clients. I had a yoga company, and he starts talking to me, and I didn't even know he passed away. So I didn't even know that he was gone. And I was like, Paul, what do you want? Like, and I remember driving and thinking I'm crazy. I'm like, Paul, what do you want from me? He's like, I just want you to tell my partner that I love her and I made a mistake. And I'm also really sorry about what happened in 8th grade. And I'm like, what happened in 8th grade? So he gave me a message. I didn't even remember it. And then he's like, can you please pass on this message to my girlfriend? And I'm like, why are you asking me? He's like, because you're the only one that's going to deliver it and you're the only one that's open. Like, you're the most open person that I know. So what did I do? I went to his girlfriend, and this was the first time it happened to me. It's happened quite a bit since.
Hi, I'm Paul's ex. I have a message for you.
I didn't do it like that. It was more like, hey, I was like, hey, you know, I'm really sorry that Paul passed away. Recently found out about it. I just have this really deep sense that this is what he would want you to know. And she's like, thank you so much. This is exactly what I needed to start to heal. Because there was like a bit of a tragic accident that happened with him. The next time was when a friend and I were in Costa Rica. And I just know when there's ghosts and spirits around. Like, I can see spirits. It's just like, oh, that soul has not left yet. Or, you know, that soul wants to jump into someone's bodies. Like, there are souls that want to have a host. Right? And if you're unconscious, if you're low vibration, they will take over. And I didn't believe in any of this stuff until it started to become my life. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm that girl. But also I'm business, and I function in this reality. You know what I mean? But this is like, so what happened in Costa Rica? A friend and I were there. It was our last night in Costa Rica. We went out for dinner and we were trying to open the door to our place and it wouldn't open. And right away, again, my soul says, my voice will say things that my soul's saying, but I'm like, I didn't say that, like came through me. I'm like, oh, there's a ghost. And my friend Nat was like, Dee, stop it. I'm like, no, there's a ghost. Like, it's wanting to get our attention. And then we get in, the lights flickering. I'm like, it's the ghost. And she's like, Dee, you're freaking me out. I'm like, okay, it seems like a friendly ghost. I don't know. It just wants to like connect with us. Tell it to go away. Okay, ghost, we don't feel comfortable. Next morning, she goes for a run. I go by the pool. She comes back and she's like, my best friend's husband got in a tragic plane accident yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, that's who wants to come through and give, like, he wants to come through and like he has a message. So this is like how it's been in my life. It's usually like within 24 hours to 72 hours is when people come through. When people pass away in my life, I know before it happens because they're already telling me about it. A friend of mine passed away a couple years ago, and she came through and she's like, this is what they need to do with the company. This is who they need to promote. This is who they need to hire. And so I passed all that information along to the company, big organization, and all of that happened after. And she's like, I'm so free on the other side. It feels so good here. I actually need to go to my higher purpose, which is actually working behind the scenes. And that was like so amazing because we were in this connection of she was just so happy and free. And everyone's like, oh, like I lost this person in my life. I'm like, well, Carolyn's fine. She's doing really great. Like she's having a great time over there. So I don't know everything about what happens after people pass away, but I do know that within like the time of passing to about 72 hours, I find they're super active and they want to talk to me.
Wow, you have dropped so many things I did not see coming. That I'm like,
I didn't see this coming
I have
either.
so many questions, but which I can table for later because I know we get to spend such good time with each other over the next week.
Yeah.
But I want to know, because this is actually, I think, a big part of my story that you probably know because I'm pretty open talking about it, that I lost my dad 4 years ago. Maybe you know even more. But I had a period of time immediately after where it was very much like that rock bottom moment.
Yeah.
And I let myself stay there for a few weeks. And then eventually I was like, okay, you gotta pull up your socks and you have to trudge forward. But in coming out of that season, that very dark season, I was able to recognize that I had the choice. I had the choice to stay at rock bottom, or I had the choice to lean into an entirely new version of me, a new season, new momentum. And it had actually birthed like this entirely new, highly motivated version of myself. And I actually really resonated when Chris Harder lost his dad. I remember hearing about it on a podcast, and I felt so sad for him. I was like, oh my gosh, they were so close. And I was about a year after. that I lost my dad unexpectedly. And Chris was actually like a big source of inspiration for me because I was able to see when he was on the podcast, we talked about this, that I chose to take a path that was more focused on really building this beautiful life, business, and recognizing that we only get one true, like in real life version of ourselves.
Well, this version, 100%.
Like ground level. What's it, earth side?
Sure. Earth side.
I know there's woo terms.
Okay.
But I'm proud of how I've taken that pain, and I still very much feel it, but tried to turn it into purpose. So let's go there, because I know that's a big part of what you do with your clients.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so important. Every single thing that we go through, you losing your dad. And I remember watching the video of you talking to your dad and interviewing him. It was so sweet. Allie, I was like, oh, he seems such a sweet guy.
Oh my God, he was just the best. And it's crazy because I sent my podcast team an email a few weeks ago after I released that video again. I was like, I wonder if we could turn this into a podcast episode. Like, it'll be like 9 minutes. It wasn't really long. And they're like, yeah, we can. Because I wasn't sure, like, it's an Instagram live, now a reel. Like, it's just like the 6th version.
Right.
And successfully launched it. I think it came out like a week or two ago. And I was listening to it at the gym not too long ago on the treadmill. And I started to cry because I have not heard my dad's voice in 4 years. And even though you're very aware of it, hearing it audibly is such a different experience. Like I for a while I would call his cell phone and listen to his voicemail greeting, and I have one voicemail on my phone in my inbox or whatever they called from him that I don't really play it as much anymore because it does make me quite sad. But what an interesting experience it was just a few weeks ago to have that connection, but this like new experience through loss and grief that I haven't experienced before.
I love that for you. And it's really, even you sharing this right now, you sharing this story, which was, losing a parent, losing anyone. It's the grief, the pain. It's a bit traumatic because it's a new reality. And every time we go through a pain and we alchemize it, we heal from it, and we share it, we help other people feel that they're not alone and give them a lifeline. Because when you were in it, or when I'm in whatever I'm in, depending on, whatever I'm growing through, it's like, man, I feel so alone. No one gets me. That's a common theme that us as humans, like, we're all the same. We're made up of the same things. And a lot of the time when we're in that darkness, we don't feel like anyone else is there or anyone else has been through it or gets us.
Yeah.
So through sharing our story, just like you did there, and my story of like not listening to my soul and my soul wanting to kill me, and basically it's like, hey, this relationship's killing you. You are so out of alignment with your soul's purpose. Like, change, girl.
Yeah.
Or we're going to reincarnate you potentially.
Change or you're gone.
Yeah. I do believe the soul will kill you if you're really off path and you're here to really fulfill a big mission. I do feel that for sure.
What, for people listening, like, that are, I guess I have a pretty spiritual massage therapist.
Right.
And we were having a deep chat yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was talking to her about something. I was like, I would just love like the tactical plan of like what to do. What are the action steps? And she was sort of endearingly making fun of me, saying like, oh, that's very much your Capricorn energy wanting to have the plan.
Oh, you're Capricorn. I'm Aries, so we're very similar. Okay.
Yeah, I like what's the steps?
Me too, yeah.
So in true Capricorn passion, what is the steps for people to do when they are maybe recognizing a not healthy, not pleasant situation that they're in? How can they get themselves out of it?
Oh, you're asking me right now. I was actually just thinking about your home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So are you actually ready to let go of your home?
It's so funny. She
Because
asked
I
me
don't
that.
feel like you're ready. There's a part of you that doesn't want to let go of your home.
So it's really interesting that
in the field.
Yeah. It's okay. So this is where the conversation came from yesterday.
Right.
And then we also recently lost our dog, Molly, who was with us for 17 and a half years. I got her in university. So we have gone through a lot of life together, including like breaking off an engagement, losing my dad, and like becoming an entrepreneur, like a lot of massive chapters. And she was posing this question to me related to the home, but rooted more so in Molly, like the loss and grief of losing this dog. And some people might be like, it's a dog, but then there's a lot of other people that if you are truly a dog person, you know that they are just like this wonderful gift.
It's not a dog, it's like a child.
It is.
Yeah.
And
it's like a
17
best friend.
Yes. And 17 and a half
Unconditional.
years is a long time
That
for a
is a
dog.
long
Like, it's
time.
a wonderful life for a canine. And she was having this whole conversation with me about my grief for that. And I was like, that's a great question. Probably still requires some deep work.
Yeah, you can just do some clearing around it, like emotional clearing around what you're letting go of and what you're bringing forward with you, and really feeling into where you're going and what you're creating and why you're excited about it and how you're not letting anything really go. Like, we're not letting anything go or bringing it with us,
Yes.
but sometimes we can get really attached to the physical.
Okay, so back to the tactical steps. Tell me the
Okay.
tactical steps
Okay.
to work through this.
So I feel like you should do a bit of a clearing ceremony in the space.
Okay.
And accept that it's time to let it go. Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen.
And would people do, like, for us, obviously this is a home that we are, looking to sell, to start a different chapter, but could people do that if it's ending a relationship or ending a corporate career to go into entrepreneurship?
I feel like anytime we're going through any kind of transition, I went through a lot of grief. I mean, I've gone through a lot of different phases of me, like when I had my yoga company for 8 years, stepping out of being like the fitness girl,
Yeah.
to like the coach and leaving a relationship. A lot of the time it's like, oh, but I loved parts of me in that old version, or I love how other people loved me, or I loved how the home was such a beautiful space for hosting events, whatever it is. And it's like, we feel sometimes that we're losing something from evolving, but really we're just bringing that with us. So for me, I just have to acknowledge, no, this is part of my evolution. I'm not losing anything. I'm just bringing that wisdom, those experiences with me. So I think number one, it's just about acknowledging where you're at, like feeling the feelings of, sadness, grief, experiences that you've had there, accepting it, like, okay, this is how it is. And then through acceptance, what do I want to create? What do I want to step into? And then just knowing that grief is a normal part of life. Like, if you're growing at all, if you have anything big to do in your life, which everyone does, especially anyone who's listening to this show, it's like part of growing is letting go so that you have more space for more love, more experiences. And that's what you're doing with this home.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I'm also, and I think I've maybe shared this on some of our mastermind calls, that you've probably heard this, not maybe everyone listening, but I'm in a transition phase of letting go of being a personal trainer within Benchmark. And I have identified myself as that since June 1st, 2019, when we bought the business, and started with, one client, 2 clients. There was a big season where I was training full time, like 26 to 30 hours a week. And recently, over the course of the summer and literally this last year, that have had some big growth conversations between Matt and myself, really recognizing that I think the time has come that I need to close the chapter of training. But it has been the longest retirement plan, because I feel bad. I've enjoyed it, and all my clients have become such great friends, which they will still remain friends, and I will still see them in the community, and I'm not leaving, but it's just that identity piece. And I like the energy with my other trainers. I feel like it's a nice camaraderie with my team, our team, but it's been a really interesting shift from an identity standpoint, and a version of grief that's different than the loss physically of someone that you love and care about.
It's also the space of in between who you have been and who you're becoming. And the space of in between is the most uncomfortable, because it's like, well, I don't know what this looks like yet. I don't know exactly what this is all for or what I'm stepping into. But yeah, if you over-identify with what you do for a living, which I always have, so girl, I get it, it's uncomfortable. And I remember leaving my yoga business, and I was like, how come Deidre's not teaching the classes anymore? How come she's not doing this? And I gave a ton of my corporate clients away to friends of mine when I totally stepped away from that business. And it was hard because I felt so many deep relationships, but I knew there's something over here calling me. And so it's really about focusing on where you're going and knowing that you're just evolving. It's not easy though.
So was that transition for you from yoga studio and practicing, what was that transition to? Writing your book, coaching?
Yeah. So within about, I would say 6 months, I stepped away from that business and I stepped into coaching. And I also went through a separation, and I still had the yoga business, but other people were teaching my classes.
Yep.
And then about a year and a half after, I totally stepped away from it. So,
And how has that journey been for you? How has it felt, like those seasons of transformation?
when I'm all in, it's magical. But when I'm overthinking anything, it's a mess.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm really good. I'm the type of person where it's like, if I'm going to do something, I need to rip off the Band-Aid and just do it.
Yeah.
If I overthink something, it's not good for me. I don't think it's good for anyone, but I need to just do the thing. So I declared one day, I was like, I want to be an international speaker. That week, I manifested my very first speaking gig. And then I did it. And then I've continued to do that. And then all within like that 6-month period, I want to be a coach, even though I didn't know exactly, I didn't even have like any kind of training in it yet. But I'm like, I want to be a coach. Everyone's telling me I'm helping them with all these things. This is what I want to do. And then I just decided it. I declared it, and then I took massive action. So it was about 6 months, and that's where everything shifted. And it was a lot about betting on myself when I had no external, I had some external evidence, but I think a big thing for me is deciding it and then declaring it. And then the universe, God, people, energy adjusts. And it's like, okay, let's give this to you.
And okay, I'm loving all of this. Will you like say those things when you really declare it? Do you say it out loud? Do you write it? Do you do both?
It depends. Like sometimes it's just an internal decision, but usually I talk to myself.
Okay. I think we all do. I was talking to myself over with my clothes earlier, my outfit changes, and I was like, why am I talking out loud about my clothes?
Sometimes you have to hear yourself.
Yeah, it's just like company or something like that.
Exactly.
And in this process, it's so funny. I'm like thinking of like, I have so many thoughts in my head of like what I want to articulate to you that they're not computing at the same time because I'm so fascinated with everything that you're saying. That this process of, okay, you made the decision, you declared it, you manifested your first speaking opportunity. And what has that been like? What was that process like in terms of getting that first speaking opportunity? How did you feel? Did you market it? How did you capture it, share it?
Right. So this is so funny. So I decided, I'm like, I'm going to be an international speaker. I think I went to an event and I saw people on stage. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. A little nudge. Okay, I want to do that. And then I remember just being in my home and I'm like, I want to be an international speaker. I just said it to myself. I declared it. 3 days later, I get a phone call. And it's my friend who runs events, big events with 300-400 people. And he's like, hey, Dee, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm good. What are you doing this weekend? Oh, I don't know. It's like maybe a Wednesday, right? I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure. He's like, hey, we need another keynote speaker for this event. I don't know. I just thought I should call and ask you. And so I'm like shaking, I'm sweating. I don't even have a coaching business yet. I had a podcast at the time and I had my yoga business. But I was like, what am I going to talk about, right? Internally. But I know there's laws of manifestation. So I know the laws of manifestation and I'll break it down in a second. So I said yes. I did not know what I was going to talk about. I didn't feel ready, but I knew that if I asked for something and it showed up, I better answer the damn call because how energy works is when you decide and declare something and it shows up and you're like, I'm not ready. The universe is like, well, we're going to take a little bit longer for that to come around because you don't seem decisive. So when the opportunity comes, it's about saying yes. Said yes right away, and now I am an international speaker, and I have spoken on stages all over the world, and it's what I love to do. But, that first speaking gig, my friends told me I did a good job. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, I did the thing. I went up there, I talked. I'm sure I shared some stories about I don't even know what. I was on stage with people who were international speakers who traveled and did all these things. And like little D was like, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And because I said yes, so many doors open. Was it the best? Was I the best speaker? Definitely not. Do I remember anything I said? Nope. It was basically like blacked out. I mean, I did the talk. I didn't actually like pass out on the stage or anything. But I did it. And because I did it, now I do it all the time and it's become a reality. But it would have been really easy for me to be like, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't have a business. Like, what am I going to say? Instead, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. This is for me. If I ask for it and it shows up, God is like, this is for you. And you minds will say, yep, I want more of this.
Yes.
But so often we push away what shows up for us. And then we wonder why it's not showing up anymore. It's like, well, energetically, you're not calling more of that in.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.